It's their map pick. On the other side, we have Team Heaven. Both of the teams are basically European, even though only Team Secret has a European flag, because Team Heaven has two Germans in their squad. Kelly is going to be the first victim of Saz, who is on the way to yet another triple kill, maybe. We are going to find out really soon. Team Heaven has to retake with a 4v5.
Yeah, already a nice start there. They're going to go for the boost onto quad. Of course, it gives information to the CTs as well, where two players are. Jinjin's already found one back. They do have a kit onto Shifty as well. And the push, Vilga, she's got to find some shots here, but instantly taken down. Jinjin has found another one in the meantime. And this is starting to fall apart a little bit. One player through the door. Zaz finds another. And Giuliano going to be going out and finding a pick, but it's still going to be that defuse. Is it coming in already? They're defending the door. Jinjin could just close it. Nice stuff there using the door. And that will be the first round going to the CT side.
That was really horrible there. I mean, shutting the door in her face, that was so hard. Well played in the end. It's, you know that highlight on 1.6, I don't know who it was, but he just controlled the door on Tuscan at the mill, at the underpass. That was really funny. I think it was somebody from Navi, but I think the chat will remember. Sadly, we don't see the chat here, but that's something that's not that important for us as casters because we have to focus on the game anyway. Now, Team Heaven has to focus on this round. The terrorists are on the way to the B-bomb site, and there are two players defending it inside and one at the vents. Nopka is going to pick up the first one, but Kelly and Hellrose will shut down the terrorist push. Now, Giuliano pushes through. She's got a bomb with her as well, and Vilga is helping her out as best as she can. UMP in hand now. It's a 2v2 again, and another round going down the wire.
Almost there. Vilga does manage to do a lot of damage. Giuliano going to be the only one on this site. Trying to defend it off the Molotov should ruin this round for her. But I have to point out, I really like the strategy there. They actually bought a Molotov in this round on the T side to force the CT player off the site and actually took her down very, very quickly. So really nice work there coming in. But either way, the bomb's still defused. But the Ts, they are going to benefit heavily from that as they now had 2 bomb plants without buying. So they're going to have a really big buy coming in.
Yeah, it's too much money already. Giuliano with 1,000 left. She didn't go for the AWP yet, but the AWP on the T side on cash, it's usually used to rather counter a very strong CT AWP instead of using it to necessarily open up rounds. Of course, if nothing else works, you gotta resort to the AWP. Now, Vilga doesn't need an AWP. She goes there with the AK. Nopka goes down to Nastia, though. The stand-in for Team Heaven doing some work. And Kelly and Shifty still on full HP, but out of position. The terrorist about to go for A.
The other thing we didn't really mention was actually the aggression that comes out from Hellrose. Nice shot from Giuliano, but this time we could see it was actually punished. She went aggressive towards middle and got taken down almost instantly. Not sure if that will fly against Team Secret. They should know this team very well. Zaz, she's going to make nice work of Nastia as already the damage had been done to her. And you can already see now it's all down to Kelly. 1 versus 4. Will find a first frag. She does have herself a kit and a Molotov and already a low player on Vilga, but well, it's an absolutely ridiculous task to try and ask her to try and make.
Yeah, and it's probably also just the wise decision to save all the equipment. It's about 5,000 more than that with the incendiary and the smoke and the defuse kit and the helmet, so it's definitely worth going for the save right now. Maybe some exit frag would have been cool, but she gets her hands on the AWP, so good save for Kelly. Now, how much money will her teammates have? Can they back her up with anything? They have 3,000 and 4,000 on Shifty and Nastia, and they will go for the full buy.
Well, I was about to say to you, do you really think that Team Heaven will save? Because we saw them force buy so much.
Yeah, I already forgot. I put that way behind myself. I wanted to forget it, but yeah.
They really went for those force buys. Hellrose with the CZ had made a lot of plays. Doesn't have it this time, but they are going to throw in a smoke here to start off the round. Obviously, she's actually only playing with a P2000 armor, sort of relying on maybe one of her teammates to drop a weapon or drop a player. But at the moment, it is 2 rifles and 3 pistols, so you do have to favor the Ts. You could see Giuliano. She's waiting for this. Actually creeping forward. Does give her slightly less, and I don't know if she spotted that. Had a smoke in hand at the time, so maybe was getting ready to line up. But there goes Nopka pushing in. Actually finds 2. A little bit lucky with that headshot, but either way, she finds the kill. And this is opening up the round already. A Deagle left onto Kelly. The remaining players do have rifles in hand, but there's a lot to ask of the remaining 2 with rifles.
Yeah, Shifty is gonna be key. Oh, Jin ringing off that shot onto Sass. She might still hear that bullet travel through her. The terrorist will quickly rotate back towards B, but there is Kelly, the deal. That's ringing a bell as well. So Team Heaven, make it costly at least. Now Jin and Shifty have to do their very best. Jin is already on the bomb site, but this time around, Team Secret will smoke it off. So no shenanigans, no crossing without smoke. Something that we already saw in this game. And not in this game, but today. Jin unable to hit the shot on the bomb plant. The Vilga is there. She has to give up her position. And I think now, well, it's a 2v3. If they don't get a frag in the next 10 seconds, they should definitely back away, even though they might still have a chance if they go all in. But their economy is so precious, in my opinion. It would only be 2-2-2.
Yeah, I don't think it's really at that stage of the game where you want to be handing over an AWP, especially not to Giuliano. You know that she will take that with both arms and then come back and shoot you in the face with it. Maybe even a no-scope, but oh, they've just spotted out Shifty. I think that was a really risky push there, especially individually, as Jin had no intention. We'll find one on the exit, but she's just going to retreat back, try and save the weapon once again. But coming into the next round after the force buy, can't really expect them to come back with too much, and Team Secret are going to take their second round. And while we talk about what we think of the stand-ins, how you think they're going to stand up, Nopka already finding a triple kill in that round. Nice start, and not having a particularly bad game so far.
Yeah, and there was a 180 headshot as well when she dropped from the boost.
Not 360 though, so I'm not impressed.
Yeah, but it looked like a 360 because I think she went for a 90 degree in the wrong direction and then a 180 in the right direction. She was definitely a little confused, but well, she was also flash and it was smoke around, so no wonder she was confused. Team Heaven will save that AWP, so now they use it on the B bomb side. Jin is already under huge pressure. Hellrose goes down. Jin with 1, but she's traded by Vilga, so the terrorist in full control of this round. The CT is forced away. Good nade takes Nastia down to 26, and what is Team Heaven supposed to do? Well, getting exit frags, of course, right?
Yeah, and the interesting thing for me is they actually forced up again. And this time it wasn't even around, like they couldn't get another rifle on the board. It was literally just pistols forcing around an AWP. And like I understand that Jin's a good AWPer, but the level of pressure that you had to actually put on her there was ridiculous. Finds a frag, but the trade is there. And now they're going to be left with no money again. Like, you think about this. If they had saved, Jin probably could have gone for somewhat of a buy. And instead, they're just going to have to go for 3, well, not ecos, but not exactly full buys.
Yeah, I mean, this one... Now they bought 2 5.7s and 1 P250. Apart from that, they have nothing, so... a 5-man stack on the B bomb side, but Team Secret is changing it up voluntarily already.
Well, yeah, you can see the push going in onto Squeaky, 2 players together playing off each other, and it's just not going to make things any easier. You can see that push coming in. They probably will find the information quite quickly, and once that happens, the bomb should just be able to push onto the site, of course. We do have a player waiting over towards the B site, so it's not going to allow for any aggression. That will be Nikki, although she has actually taken a bit of damage in the meantime, so possibly just going to realize and push over towards that A site. I don't feel like there's going to be any problem, and there you go. They've spotted the rotations coming in, they've checked all the angles, and it's just going to be a pretty horrific attempt at a retake, running and gunning and trying to just spam away with those pistols.
Yeah, especially Kelly eating that nade down to 18, no armor. Aim punch is going to kick them to heaven. The terrorists just holding those positions. It should be basic mob-up work as soon as the, so to speak, German mixture will head to the bomb site. They're going to be slaughtered, or at least they should be slaughtered. Giuliano with the first, Saz is there as well. There is really no chance for the CTs anymore. They also don't have a defuse kit, so even if they were to eliminate 5 terrorists in 20 seconds, they would still have to defuse 10 seconds, and that's not going to happen anymore. Heroes all the way back. Well, Saz is one of, yeah, just a double kill this time around.
Yeah, not seeing too much crazy stuff, but just consistently fragging again. And, well, I feel like a lot of those rounds were rather just the inability of Heaven to save. They really wanted to bounce back straight into this one, make this big, make big plays, and instead we just see, what, 4 quite easy rounds for Team Secret. They're going to take that one with open arms, walk away with it, and just go, thank you very much. And, well, now we do have that buy coming back in. Of course, AWP on both sides at the moment after Giuliano now has one. But straight away, we see Nikki finding the first frag. Again, do we have to bring up the aggression of Hellrose, or is it something that she should have just realized by now?
But this time she wasn't actually aggressive. Ironically, she was behind her teammate, and that got her killed. But, well, it doesn't really matter that much anymore. The CT's already got a reply, even though it was also replied upon, so it's a 4v3. And they still have fairly good amount of map control on the CT side. Team Secret, however, have the man advantage, so they can force the issue somewhere. Nopka getting another headshot onto Kelly. Nikki working on middle. He's not going to see anyone, but she's got a rough idea that the CTs are still hanging out over there. Shifty going down to 47 thanks to that grenade. And look at the terrorists pushing all the way in the back. Nopka is basically already in the CT spawn alley. Jin putting a bullet right next to her head. That's gonna be hurt. Oh, now she's getting tagged from the checkered area. Nopka with a triple kill now, 5-2 in favor of Team Secret on the terrorist side. It's still not that big of a problem for the CTs, but obviously you want to get more.
Well, Giuliano with the anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah.
She just straight away just hits that wall bang, but doesn't quite get the frag. Coach looking a little bit quiet, but either way, at the moment, I don't think there's too much he can actually say in terms of the Team Secret side of things. They've had a pretty dominant few rounds after the pistol went the other way, and the money's not looking too good. The other thing is, I feel like in terms of like retake positions and actually staying alive, there are some problems. Like Hellrose, although she may have not gone aggressive that round, she still died very, very quickly, and that may just be to the way that they're pushing or the way that they're positioning themselves, but you can't always take the duel. Sometimes, especially when you're up on that CT side, you've got to play more tactically just because you're up against AKs. If you can hit the headshot, they can hit it, they're going to win.
Yeah. And we have a tactical pause, I suppose. I think that's Team Heaven trying to get some kind of leverage on Team Secret and trying to figure out what the terrorists like to do, and actually what do they like to do. At the moment, they are so spread out. They attack B one round, then they go middle one round, then they go A again. It's really flexible on the terrorist side right now, so really hard for the CTs to predict. I think that they are going to try and use the real aggression by Hellrose in a push. Squeaky wasn't used by the terrorists so far, so maybe we could see a Squeaky push or A main.
I do have to say, like, I am normally a fan of like early tactical pauses. The only problem I have with this one is the fact that 3 of the rounds they lost were not full buys. So you had one with the AWP. Oh no, one was like the sort of
one
they
AWP
forced
and one rifle.
Well, no, the one before that they lost as well. It was like they saved the AWP and the rifle, but they'd forced in with like still had a few SMGs in the buy, so that wasn't really a full. Then they went for the force, like you said, with one rifle and an AWP, and then they went with one AWP and a load of pistols, and they're calling a pause.
Now they have another.
Yeah, and they've called a pause and decided, okay, so force buys aren't working, let's force buy. But you never know. Maybe this will be the change in the tide. Of course, the loss bonus has built up now, so they will be getting a little bit more. Jin will be able to grab an AWP in the next round, or the likelihood is, from the save. But thinking of the round now, it's not looking particularly good. But they have got a fairly decent read. They've got a couple of players over towards this B side at the moment. The flashbang going to come out. They're going to use the aggression to try and find something, and Nastia will manage one, but quickly traded back by Nopka, the Russian player currently on the other side of things.
Yeah, but a good amount of damage dealt onto Nopka as well, so she killed 1.5 guy. Kelly and Hellrose still holding the B bomb set, but the terrorists realized that there might probably be somebody else around the B bomb set as well, so let's go back for A, and there is only one player for the CTs. It's Jin with a 5-7 and no armor.
Yeah, it definitely isn't the ideal position, although the boost will come in onto middle. Very passive hold currently coming in over towards middle. Not going to allow for any sort of pick there. Kelly will find another one, so evening this back up a little bit more. I do have to say, in terms of Jinjin, obviously if she finds one, that's sort of ideal if they go towards that site. But either way, it is going to be a 4 versus 3. The AWP still onto Giuliano, so I wouldn't rule anything else just yet. Haven't seen any particularly crazy plays just yet, but still, again, just chugging along with the frags, and that's just about enough. But here we go. Jinjin, I feel, needs to find one. That will be enough. And there she goes, finding the first. That should be enough for her teammates to retake. We've got 3 rifles now. I don't know if there's a kit in play. That could be the one problem, but 2 players here. Giuliano and Nikki, 2 players who have been big throughout this. We'll see if they can actually bring it back.
Yeah, the CTs will boost each other up on the red container. Really cheeky play by them. Giuliano gets tagged down to 14, and both of the players die simultaneously. The bomb is about to be defused. The CTs will capture the rifles as well, and you can see they get a little fired up. Now, the other thing is that the usually non-successful approach worked out this time around, so it might fool them into thinking that it's a viable thing to do, and they should do it again and again and again until they win another round.
Yeah, that is sort of the false mentality. I do have to say in this turn they did actually have 3 rifles, and also the sort of, it was more planned aggression. It wasn't just like Hellrose going aggressive. It was, okay, we're going to flash this player through. They only have a UMP, so if they take one and die, it's actually valuable. Nastia did a little bit more. Of course, she's the stand-in, so it doesn't also fall into their strategy as well. So I feel like that was much more structured, whereas in the last round it was like, yeah, run at them with pistols.
Yeah, definitely. And the AWP holding back. Oh, now Jinjin picking up Knopka. It looked like she would have tagged somebody else behind her, but that wasn't really the case. But the first frag really giving the CT some more confidence. Now they can settle back a little bit, because before that they know we are on the brink of a save now, because they wouldn't have been able to force it up if they lose this round. Now they have the first frag, so there is some pressure falling off of their shoulders, and they can relax a little more. Obviously, they shouldn't relax too much, because it's still a 4v5. The round is far from being won, but they have that small advantage that can give them some solitude.
Yeah, that's definitely something to take into account. Of course, plenty of players who can go off, so they do have to still be wary of what can happen here. But another kill comes in. Nastia finding a frag. She's teaming up with Kelly over here. However, Hellrose will fall in the meantime. Nastia finds another, but Nikki will trade, and it's going to come down to Kelly onto the site. Needs to just connect one bullet onto one of the remaining Ts. Vilga only low and almost manages to spray down both there, but here comes Jinjin from behind. She's going to be the big factor here, although a push coming in. The Molotov should be perfect and actually force her back a little bit. They now know exactly where she is, and in fact the Molotov will do all of the work. Jinjin placing that nade perfectly, and that was a much more calmer approach. We see a lot of sort of aggression coming out from them, but in that situation they played it very, very well. They get another round. They sort of saved their economy enough that they can keep going, but I don't think it's safe just yet, as only 2 players survived.
Yeah, it's definitely not safe anywhere near Team Secret. If you're on the same server than that they are on, that's gonna be scary anyway. And well, we are yet to see that magic. You already mentioned it. Zaz didn't get those triple kills. We talked about that before the game started, that if you have players that are more on the same level than you are, it's obviously harder to dominate them, as you did with iSports when Candy fell off a little bit and nobody else was stepping up. Team Heaven is stepping up with everyone getting back on track, and that might be a real problem for Team Secret if Zaz goes back to angry mode and then loses focus. That could really break the first map, and it looked so well at the start.
Well, the thing is, she has been consistently good through all of the maps, even the map that they managed to lose on Mirage. But that's a nice lineup from Kelly. Manages to find the first 2 frags. Actually going to push and use the smoke to her advantage as well, which could catch off Giuliano. Doesn't have an AWP this time. It will actually be Vilga, but here goes Hellrose. What would you expect? 2 quick kills, run and gun. Why not? But look at Zaz, actually pushing through from behind. Going to go for the kill onto Jinjin, but Jinjin with the pistol. 1 tap. And that is going to be 5-all. So Heaven, they get back. They get themselves back.
Yeah, well handled by them. Good team play coming up as well. The calls were correct. The reactions were on point. The terrorists were a little bit caught off guard by Hellrose's quick push like that. but it worked out perfectly. And then the communication showed as well. Helrose saw Saz get into CT spawn. She warned her teammates. Jin went back behind the box, switched the weapon to the pistol, and came back to shut the Swede down. 5-5 now. Team Heaven in some good control now, but they still have to reset the terrace money. And by the time they get it, the loser bonus has stacked up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, after this round, we will have possibly one eco for Team Secret, but even then, they're going to have, like, the loss bonus, like you said. It's been, what, 3 rounds in a row, so it will be getting on to 2,900 after this one, even if they lose. If they win, of course, they then reset Team Heaven, and they haven't built up any cash, really. They built up a bit, possibly to go for a force, but there's Helrose again. This time she has backup, and I prefer that. That's a much safer way to actually go aggressive, because even if you do fail, you get a trade. Nice position from Nastia, not one that is always checked, although it is quite common, so they may actually use it to their advantage. Smoke going to be thrown out, and we'll actually have some spray coming through it, but without traces, of course, because we have to silence them for. Giuliano will actually find a pick over towards middle as well, so that will stop the rotation coming in, but Nastia is actually up close and personal. She's managed to get in behind and will go sneaking through. Jin finds another, and so does Kelly, so it's back to a very close scenario as Giuliano finds 2, but it's going to be Shifty coming in from behind that could make all the difference. Giuliano, well, why not get a third? And now it's going to be just Shifty all alone. Going to miss the shots, will give away our position, and Giuliano, this is why you talk about this map as her playground.
And that's also why you don't give her an orb if you're the enemy team. If you have an orb and you're anywhere closer, you're going to try to get it out of the map, because if you happen to die and she gets it, that's going to be problem. 6-5. And that's a star player stepping up when it matters the most, right? That's something that everyone demands of those star players. Doesn't matter which sport, which game you play, or whatever you do. You have to have your carries do the work when it's needed. Of course, when everything's okay, they can relax a little bit. But when it's crunch time, they have to show up.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. Like, we saw another map, she was able to not do too much, as we had Zaz and Nikki firing on all cylinders. So also we had Knopka as well, but either way, here comes that push. It is just going to be some pistols alongside a few rifles here as we get into that force buy mentality once again from Team Heaven. As we said, they didn't build up enough money, so now the T's, they've actually managed to do much worse than we could have hoped previously by breaking their economy. And they're going to get themselves 1, maybe 2 free rounds, depending on the force that actually comes in here. So obviously, still a T-sided map. I would say it's not something that we particularly going to be worrying about in terms of Team Heaven. But at the same time, they want to get off to a good start. Team Secret, they're going to want to take this map forward. And then going on to Train, we've already seen some pretty good performances out on that map. So it's not like a surefire Team Heaven map. It's not like they're going onto a home map that they win every time. It's more of a sort of close scenario.
Indeed. And, well, Kelly, where are you? Okay, she's saving the deagle and the armor for the next round. 7-5 in favor of Team Secret. Well, they didn't win the pistols, so actually talking about Team Heaven having won the pistol and only getting 3 rifle rounds on the board, that's not necessarily enough, right?
Yeah, you would expect a little bit more, especially the way that the rounds went, where they sort of like they had 3 or 4 rounds in the middle where it was sort of their own fault that they were losing the rounds, because they were like, oh, we have 1 orb. That means buy. No, not really. You can sort of try and go for an aggressive play, but well, talking of AWPs, there is Giuliano once again finding the first kill. Nopka going to be waiting up close, and, well, apart from the headshot from Jinjin doing some nice work, there is the trade, and while Kelly may have a deagle and some armor, but she also has 4 players to find.
Yeah, it's the same story like last round. Doesn't necessarily have anything to work with. The terrorists are already looking for her as well. Now that's the thing that, well, okay. Getting the kill on Kelly would remove the armor and the deagle and the 2 nades. But is it worth losing one of your AKs?
Yeah, that would be the thing, though, because if they lose it, or she can either decide to keep it or drop it, either way, it wouldn't be the well, it'd be great for her. It'd be absolutely perfect in terms of the round because you weren't exactly expecting too much. He's going to use one of those nades and just completely drop it onto Giuliano. But that was a little bit surprising. It does give away her position, but I don't really feel like the T's need to hunt for this. And, well, that's sort of the scenario we were scared about. If she can get that AK, she does actually manage to do it. And now things are a little bit worrying, especially as she's taking more and more players down. Got to be careful here. Vilga going to go in. Is she going to clean out every single player here? Going to walk into the AWP. Oh, Giuliano misses the shot. Now that's surprising.
Yeah, that was definitely Kelly putting up the pressure on the terrace, and suddenly nobody really got there. And timing was off, of course. They pushed in one by one, but you can see they are still smiling. They're having a good time, especially Saz. Well, and okay, it's the second last round now. They will have enough money anyway, so I guess it was okay going for that.
Yeah, it was. The only thing you have to talk about is the fact that she had, what, max $2,000 worth of investment and left with, what, about 4,700. So
Yeah.
it did pretty much double what she had. It also just gave her that for the next round, AWP onto Jinjin. So it made a big difference. Boost comes in, nice aggression. It seems to be they're actually using Nastia for the aggression now. I quite like that idea because it means that their default is sort of safe if she goes down. But at the same time, if she finds an entry kill, it's value added on. And, of course, the player they take down is Giuliano, who has been finding those entry frags a lot of the time and stepping up big in the closer rounds. So it could be a big factor here. Nikki going to be pushing onto the site. Only one player there, one player alone, and that will be Kelly. And she's going to go down and drop. The player from Vent doesn't seem to be awake. And Nastia, well, could have actually stopped that from happening if she dropped in from behind. But again, power of hindsight. Here comes Hellrose. More aggression to try and counter what has just come in. But it's not working out. And Team Secret, they may be low, but they've still got 4 players versus 2.
Yeah, yeah. Shifty's frag is opening up the round, and bomb is not ticking, so Team Heaven has a chance to get back in here. Team Secret getting rid of the C4. Now they are pulling back into checkered, and it's Nikki staying down below at Heaven. And Shifty and Jinjin are coming in from 2 different directions. Jinjin is aiming at the bomb site still, but there's nobody inside, and they're going to go for the push. Nikki catches her with a nade in her hand. Shifty going down. Jinjin basically has no other choice than to save her. She's getting sprayed from checkered and from the front as well. Nikki with a quad kill here, 9-5.
Well, it's just in this game, we don't even know who's going to step up. The fact is, currently bottom fragging for their team is Zaz, which really does show the level of talent on this team at the moment as they're just able to step up individually. But yeah, there were definitely some questionable decisions there. The other thing you have to notice is the fact that the bomb was clearly planted for checkers. I know that obviously you can say that you could actually put a player on the site just to bait that out, but they didn't really have a quick enough movement to ever be able to retake that site. And what you can see in this round, they're going to try and counter their lack of utility by investment, by aggression, sorry. But as I'm talking, 2 quick kills are traded back. Shifty playing it calm, trigger control, a skill in itself. And now it's going to be back to the 3 versus 3.
And Saz making her way into the CT spawn early already. The bomb is going to be carried into A. And there's only one more player not standing anymore. That was Jinjin trying to get into the bomb site and keep the terrorists from planting it. And Saz is going to intercept the rotation from happening. Shifty is the last man, the last woman alive. As my tongue is on autopilot, so is Shifty. She goes down to Saz, and we have the first half going 10-5.
Yeah, of course, the odds for CSGO Lounge did put this heavily in the favor of Team Secret, and so far they're showing why. They had a pretty good start, although there are a few rounds where it did go a little bit up in the air, but some big individual plays. We saw quad kills from multiple players, and well, I'm not particularly surprised by this. Cash is a very good map for their team. We've seen Giuliano show why she's so deadly with that AWP, having a quad kill of herself, and well, at the moment, we're just waiting to see what will actually return. Of course, the pistol is something that will be very valuable to both teams. Whoever wins it could actually end up either pulling back the map or, in the case of Secret, run away with it. And that's the scarier of the two, because that means Heaven, they have to win train. So going into this pistol, of course, we have utility on both Vilga and Nikki, and actually a raid bot coming into Jinjin.
Yeah, Shifty, only one smoke. Ooh, Zaz, that's the double. She's looking for the knife. Oh, doesn't get it, but it was so close. A 4v2 now. Nasty on 32 HP. Shifty on 100, but she doesn't have armor, so chances are she's going to get aim punched to death. Now it's Nastia shutting down Nopka.
Yeah, and this means that very little for the T's to actually play with here. The raid boss didn't actually achieve anything this time. We saw in the previous matchup, Jinjin with that Tech 9 armor was hugely effective, but in this scenario it has not been the case. We are going to see that push coming in onto the side now. We've got Nikki moving forward. And actually, Nastia's going to find another one. She's opened this back up. We're into a 2 versus 2, and Giuliano trying to hold them in from behind. She's actually going to hit the player behind, and Nastia now on a triple kill. So you never know. It could be going all back. Pistol rounds, they do go up and down in the air, but this is going to be a 1v1, and look at Nastia. She's going to go all the way around to A.
Yeah, and Nikki is yet to find out. At least Nikki stays at B. Otherwise, you know, sometimes the players get caught in the middle between the two bomb sites and end up not knowing which bomb site the bomb is planted on. Now, she knows, definitely. Nastia is expecting a backstab from A main, but good position for her, because if Nikki checks out the whole bomb site, she will probably not have the time to get around that box. So Nastia with a very good position. Nikki has to check all the different corners, ideally, by at first checking quad and then faking. And that's exactly what she does right now. Now she's faking, trying to draw the attention from A main. Nastia's there, though. What a clutch by her. She keeps Team Heaven in contestants for this map. A quad kill in the pissed round against all odds.
Yeah, and after the start that we saw, Zaz getting the double kill, almost getting the knife with quick trades coming in either way, but just a big, big individual play, and that could be the difference. Obviously, we spoke about how crucial this pistol would be for both teams, and instead it's Team Heaven who take it. They buy up 3 rifles, but we have seen them lose to pistols multiple times, especially, well, in that Reason game, there were plenty of pistol rounds that are noteworthy.
Yeah, definitely. Those 4 spy rounds on the CT side, putting a lot of damage on the terrorists. Now, Harrow's, well, yeah, holding with the Glock, I don't know. She should know the CTs have probably purchased armor and head armor, so the Glock is really not the best weapon to put up against the CTs, especially if they have 5.7s like they do. And in the end, it didn't end up horribly, so she could have been pushed by them. In the end, the terrorists will pull back a little bit and now settle it. They just wait for the CTs to show themselves. They have 1 minute on the clock, so plenty of time to work with. Yeah,
and this is, well, the thing is, so far, it hasn't been hugely successful in terms of kills, but the damage that they've been doing with these SMGs has been nice. They're going to send a couple of players over here. Vilga actually going to miss the shot and throw out a smoke, of course, buying them more time. The only problem is, because they have these pistols, they've got to go for that full rotate, try and bring this all the way back and make these pistols work. And as you can see on the screen, all 5 players rotated away. They tried to gather up. They are now going to rush this site together. And actually, we're waiting for the sort of rotation to come in here, but it's not quite happening just yet. Vilga will go down. Hellrose actually going to go aggressive and find that kill. Nopka has fallen as well, and now, well, it's just falling apart here. This is much better in the anti-eco from Team Heaven. 2 players are left. It looks like they may try and save, but there's Hellrose again playing that aggressive flank role as she gets herself an extra $600, $1,200 overall, and Giuliano left with a deagle and some Kevlar.
Yeah, she doesn't want to risk that anymore, so backs away from the terrorists. Also doesn't want to give any more money to them. They're already fed up enough, at least Hellrose is, with those 2 Mac-10 kills. And let's see if she's able. Yeah, the terrorists are too far away, so Team Secret will have a deagle to work with in the next round. And those deagles can be quite dangerous. Hint, Nico, hint. Maybe she can pull something off.
Yeah, of course. We've seen Nico multiple times, well, especially on Cash, be absolutely ridiculous with that weapon. I would say that's a pretty tall task.
Yeah.
Nico, arguably the best player in the world. There's few that will say he's in the top 3 at least.
I'm better. That's why I stopped playing, because it was boring, right?
I think that's why people like Natu stopped playing as well, of course.
Yeah.
They're too good for the scene. But there you go. Nice 1D to start off the round.
You heard it here first. Yeah, that's some brain sprayed on the red container. And she's looking for more. And that is so dangerous. If you, well, let's say if there was another deagle, and that was at A main. The terrorists lose another one to one of those 1-deeks. They slow down. It's a 3v5. And then they run in a stack. They don't have the manpower anymore, or the girl power. And that is so dangerous. If you're... Obviously, they have to take it slow because they have to feel out the CTs. But at the same time, they know there's a deagle running around the map. And it can pop up any moment.
Yeah, that's the scary factor here, and they are taking it a little bit slow. The fact is they're pushing into a stack as well, so it's going to be the 4v4. Obviously, they are favored in this scenario. That is always going to be the case when they have the rifles, and they're using their nades quite well. This will force players out of positions, getting up close and personal, and they have done this very, very well. That is how you play against pistols. You use your nades effectively and move them out. However, Juliana will take one more for her troubles. Obviously, it only takes one bullet to connect to the face to actually get yourself a kill. But that's a tall order with 3 players surviving. She's going to push in. Nice shot. Actually walks into the crosshair, Jinjin. And 1 player has done 3 players worth of damage there. So nice stuff coming out from Giuliano. And you can already see, now we see her CT AWP. And this is where I'm starting to get excited. Because this is where I love the CT AWP. I love the players who can play it aggressively and play it well. That old style of Cash was always my favorite, where you saw the sort of happy MV style with him and Kenny just going off at different times. So we'll see what can actually come in here for Giuliano. However, it's actually going to be Nikki finding the first kill straight through smoke. And the aggression has not stopped there from the T side.
Yeah, Candy picked up 4 kills in a round before. She started with the Galil, and now she picked up the AK that Shifty has dropped. It seems like the AK was cursed, because the second kill of Nikki is going to be on the same player with the AK. It's a 3v5 now. Nastia has some decent control over Speedway. She's got Jinjin holding middle for her, and Nastia going down. That leaves Hellrose alone on the A-bomb side, and she goes down to Nikki's 3rd frag of the round. Jinjin, the only one standing for the terrorists now. That is really not looking good for their economy either. Alright, she's going down to Nikki now. Let's see how much money Team Heaven managed to stack up before this round. Now they have a really mixed setup here. 8,000 for Kelly, 5 and 4 for Hellrose and Shifty. They will drop for each other, so they will have a healthy buy in the end. But yeah, they are on the edge of that cliff.
Yeah, both teams are at the moment. They're not particularly healthy economy-wise. Of course, Team Secret have a little bit more, leeway, I suppose, with the rounds to play with. But as said, Team Heaven, they're now on that T side, which has been favored recently, especially when it comes to the economy game as well. Well, I suppose that's not recently. That's just common sense, because they have to actually buy more up. The nades are much more valuable. Also, the kits in an essence, but let's see what can actually be done here. Nastia, the stand-in, only going to be left to Tech 9. I was wondering if Kelly would actually drop an AWP, but they haven't decided it's as valuable in this round. But here we go. They're actually going to go for a middle play. Taking a lot of presence here, using some nades to clear out positions, but unfortunately, with the power of wall hacks, I can tell them there is nobody there.
Which one do you have?
The expensive one, premium.
Gotta give me that contact. Nah, just kidding. The terrorists will eventually go for middle, since they already had Kelly taking control of it from the boost. And now Nikki is thinking about getting a little cheeky here. She's on the edge of the smoke. In the meantime, the B-bomb site gets opened up by the terrorists, but the CTs are holding it down. Vilga is the one in the middle of it all. 2 frags for her. Now Kelly steps up. Only one. Nikki with a reply. It's a 1v2. Shifty made it to the bomb site, so she can plant the bomb, but Giuliano and Nikki are coming in from 2 different directions. It's going to be hard for Shifty to make this go down to a 1v1, let alone winning the round, but there goes the headshot onto Giuliano. It's Nikki pushing for the bomb site. Shifty comes around and puts her down. There goes the congratulation by the teammate. Well played, then that was really important for Team Heaven.
I think that's the reaction I would have had as well. Very impressive stuff from her. You cursed it yet again. I don't know how she's going to find this into a 1v1. Instant headshot.
You know what I did?
I was playing the Karma Gods.
2-0, don't forget that.
But yeah, Team Secret, they are now back to an eco. So as said, the economy game always seems to favor the Ts. And you can see they've done some nice work here. Playing more passively now, waiting for this aggression. It is quite scripted with these pistols coming in to just play very slowly. However, Shifty is going to take some damage early on. Jinjin using that Tech 9, trying not to get forced back. And actually going to miss the AWP shot as well, but it is going to come down, what I hope, to most of the players from Team Heaven staying alive, and it's actually only going to be Nopka left, so she does have a 5-7, of course. Headshot potential is there. Almost going to take down one, but Shifty manages to survive with low HP, and that's actually going to be enough, because now they keep their economy alive. They get themselves rolling. Obviously, they'll have to rebuy a few nades, but not anything that will cost them too much, and that should actually secure them a buy in the next round. The only thing I'm questioning a little bit is the fact that Nasty has actually gone for a UMP, when a full buy is now coming back in.
Yeah, maybe they're having kind of a hidden agenda there to save some money on one player, and then you know, the JW factor. When you have one player that has a lot of money stacked up, you can squeeze out additional buys. Maybe that's Nastia's task, or they misread the CT's economy.
Yeah.
And that would be a problem.
Well, the other one, the main player who I saw making a lot of money during the major was Hiko using the auto shotty on Nuke, because he made so much cash off that alone, and it was actually quite a viable weapon. But, of course, in terms of all the SMGs, UMP is definitely the most viable, especially when you look at the actual price. Obviously, the P90, it just when you look, if you're looking at money, you'd say, oh, that has to be the more viable, but it's not. The damage you can actually do with the UMP is pretty damn effective, and for 1250, it's a bit of a bargain.
Yeah, and, well, it reinvests itself, kind of, so it's kind of like the bank system. Just have to avoid having it break down. So Team Heaven lining up an A execution, and Nastia is at the squeaky door. She took early control of that, and UMP is perfect for that. Now she's going to be the first one in. The CTs are going to be blinded. Giuliano going down to that UMP. We have put a lot of emphasis. Now she, well, no. UMP, I don't care.
She lost her weapon.
The Glock. Why wouldn't I go in with the Glock? The 3v4 in favor, no, 2v4, thanks to Jinjin putting down Vilga. That Glock was a little odd, but she just tossed the weapon away because it was empty, so it was okay. It just looked so funny.
She thought that, I think she thought the weapon had been dropped somewhere, but I think a nade may have thrown it across the map. The other thing to really mention is that we talk about Nopka having like reasonable score lines. If you actually think back to the maps, I'm pretty sure all of those big fragging powers are on the T side. Because in terms of the actual T side, like if you're going for a push somewhere, as long as you know the smoke, a lot of the time it's just about finding those angles, whereas the real chemistry comes in on the CT side. And if you look, I think she's only had 1 kill so far, or 2 now, on this CT side. So it is playing back into Team Heaven's hand. And it's the same way on the other side, where you look at the fact that you have a stand in there as well, Nastia. Yeah. She's now making plays on that T side as well, and she was very quiet during the CT, only really used for aggression. So the fact is here, obviously, nice little view of the crowd, but the fact is here, that stand-in, that's the difference it's making.
Yeah,
your
the
CT side. Yeah. CT side as well. But yeah, utilization, the positions they're playing, it depends on the map. And, well, this buy, of course, is just based around the fact they save 2 weapons. You can definitely pull that off on the CT side. There's no, like, you don't lose money for saving. So we'll see what they can actually do with these 2 rifles. And, well, Zaz and Nikki, we know what they can do. We've seen quad kills from both of them multiple times, and ace. But here we go. Here comes a little bit of mid-aggression.
Yeah, very, very cautious mid-aggression. It's just feeling it out for now. I think Team Heaven has a rough idea that Team Secret wants to go for some kind of, well, not really stack, but surprise play. And since the CTs didn't do anything yet, the terrorists are probably pretty disappointed because they have to make their own move. And that's when they run into a crossfire between Giuliano and Nopka, for example, with Nopka drawing the attention and Giuliano getting the headshots with a P250.
Yeah, and well, so far, Kelly finding the first kill. That bait didn't work too well as she actually used the boost spot, meaning there really wasn't a repeat scenario there. M4s are split at the moment. 1 over towards A, 1 towards B, and Zaz will find the kill. So that's actually another rifle, especially if she can take over this position of her heroes. May want to try and actually hold that off from happening. Actually going to go with the rotate and her teammate. And they may actually think because there was a rifle over towards that site that the other site is empty. But looking at the time, that's the main thing, the time. There's only 20 seconds left. They've got to go now. And Nikki still has a rifle on this site. Here comes the pistol. Giuliano baiting all of them in. And look at Nikki. She's just going to sit in the corner. However, the pre-fire was there. Nice work. And they're actually going to drop this. But the bomb, it still needs to go down. They are leaving it late. But, well, they get the final kill with 5 seconds left.
That was so risky by Team Heaven. If anything would have gone wrong, they would have lost the round, and that would have been a huge loss because the CTs still had 4 players alive at that moment when they pushed in, and that, wow. So some risk, but it paid off. 12-11. The CTs are back on the bye with 5 rifles. Asus for Saz.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe can come in handy if you're in desperation.
Well, I suppose rather than switching to the knife like she did previously, but either way, we are going to see this boost. As said, it's quite common. Actually missing the shot there. That was very, very close. Kelly, however, will not miss the shot. And I feel like after you realize there was a player waiting there, continuing to push.
Yeah, she was really frustrated.
Yeah, I feel like that was a little bit of a silly mistake to make. And, well, maybe if she just thought the AWP was there, I can sort of understand it. Whereas the missed shot, you go, okay, now I charge. And
yeah,
unfortunately, there was a second player waiting, Kelly backing up the AWPer of Jinjin. So, Heaven, they have the lead. They're on the favored side. They have the player advantage. Are they going to take cash?
2-0.
We'll see. We'll see.
Nikki and Novka is still in middle, so they can rather quickly support their teammate. And Vilga is doing a lot of work, getting that one, and Nikki with a second. Nastia is the only one on the terror side that gets a kill on that B execution, and the CTs are all over the place already. Nikki is still in the vents. 2 players coming in from behind, so 1 at Heaven, 1 at CT spawn. The bomb will be planted, so that's out of the way. And the CTs are moving in. Nikki's around. Nastia has to cover herself. Oh, that is a really nice frag and a really important one with 3 HP remaining. That could have ended way differently as well. Checker is such an important part of the map to hold on if you have planted a bomb on B. Shifty onto Giuliano, leaving Nopka alone. And what is she supposed to do? Well, it's always so hard to tell the money if you don't regularly... Well, if you can't press tab yourself, but
yeah.
I think saving would be quite a good idea right now.
Well, yeah, the other thing to mention is, it's coming into tuition here, the fact that she isn't able to have that same sort of impact. I'm not sure why the push came in at different times. Like, probably the best way to retake a site is to all explode at once, like 3 players there.
Yeah.
1 player pushed vent, the other one went over through the upper position, and well, she couldn't move. Like, I don't blame Nopka at all there, because she was behind a smoke. You would sort of plan, say, okay, we'll wait till the smoke fades, then we'll go together. That's sort of a smart decision. Whereas there, they just went, okay, I'll go, now you go, now you go. And that's not a team. That's individuals.
Yeah. And that's just water dripping on a play that's not going to wash anything off. So Team Secret has to save now. And for a 1 got saved by Nopka. And Giuliano goes down to Nastia. So a really good start for Team Heaven. It's not as dangerous as one of the previous rounds where we have seen the Deagle coming into effect. Okay.
Just don't say anything anymore. You're not allowed to talk.
What is going on?
Everything you say, the opposite happens. Maybe you should like predict yourself to not win the lottery, but Zaz going to be pushing in.
Yeah.
Isn't going to find anything done here. Vilga with the dig. No surprises there.
Sorry.
And Vilga actually has a kit as well, but unfortunately Hellrose has a bullet. And, well, that bullet ends straight in the head of her opposition. It's now going to be getting towards map point for Team Heaven, and they've done what I didn't think was possible. But the thing is, I feel like starting on that CT side actually helped them out quite a bit, because now they're able to get themselves rolling. They've come up against a pretty weak side. Giuliano, someone I highlighted, was pretty damn good on that T side. Haven't seen too much of her here. That really hasn't made that much of an impact. So need to step up, need a few others to step up with her. Zaz has gone quiet, Nikki the same, and, well, that's the scary scenario. But Jinjin, she's still here. She finds her 10th kill of the second half and stepping up with that AWP.
Yeah, it's kind of the Team Heaven is really grinding themselves in the rounds. They get 1 frag here, 20 seconds after that they get another kill, then they plant the bomb somewhere by pushing, and the retakes usually are kind of, well, really disassembled, kind of, you know, they feel so squishy on that one, and that's a completely different Team Secret that before.
Well, there you go. It's happened almost exactly as you said it this time, where they find one kill and instantly find another, like, well, not instantly, literally with a few seconds delay. And, well, the other thing to mention is I'm seeing a completely different Hellrose. She's not going for those sort of ridiculous plays. She is just trying to actually play with her team. And there you go. She plays the more passive role there, waiting, and finds 2 kills. Very nice stuff from her. And this is maybe just because she's respecting her opponent a little bit more, but it's really refreshing. 2 Molotovs going to be thrown in towards Giuliano. There's not a huge amount she can hope to do in this one. Of course, we've seen her do crazier things in the past. But let's see what she can actually hope to achieve. There goes the flash. Hellrose is waiting. And Jin will push in to finish this one off. So 15-11. They've got to be feeling confident now after a huge string of rounds. What was the first half was 10-5
yes.
to Team Secret. We're now looking at a 15-11 for the side of Team Heaven. So a complete switch around. 1 round is all that has come in for that CT side. And now they're going to have to try and, well, replicate that 1 round with a pistol, a FAMAS, and no Molotovs.
Yeah, chances are they might lose this round. I'm trying to come up with a sentence that karma can use to turn against me, but I really can't think of anything right now. What I would see is Knopke getting the first kill, but she already got pushed back thanks to some, I think it was grenade damage there, 9 HP taken off of her, and she's already gone. Team Secret focused on the A bomb site right now, even though I feel that middle was the real problem so far. That's where the terrorists came into the rounds.
Yeah, and, well, the other thing is I do feel like in this map they are missing Mimi on that CT side. That chemistry just doesn't seem to be there. And although I feel like the CTs on the other side, Team Heaven, were sort of using Nastia as almost cannon fodder, like sending her in early to find information, maybe get a pick, it did actually get them 5 rounds, which seems like it may have been enough. Obviously, we are still waiting for that 16th round before we hear that fat lady singing, but still, they've got the better buy, they've got more nades, and they're about to get their push coming in onto the A site with a split from middle as well. As it doesn't seem to be any presence there. The only real presence is the fact that Giuliano is holding that cross, and that's about it. We see the push come in. Hellrose will find that first frag. Hopefully she's not going to go too over-aggressive here, but they are pushing the player on card, trying to push them back. An aggression or aggressive play will come out here, but it is going to be that 5 versus 3 Heaven for the map.
Yeah, Nikki going down to 25 now. She's taken out by Nastia and stand in, getting the double kill here. 16-11 in favor of Team Heaven.
I just don't see them winning cash, he says.
Who would have thought? Oh, I know this guy. I wake up in his body every single day.
That's what? That sounds weird.
Schizophrenia, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, big plays from them, an impressive performance. As said, the last few times that they've played them on cash, they haven't been able to do it. This time they do. Maybe this is their one. Maybe this is their tournament. They're still going to have to take train. We've seen both these teams have impressive performances as well.
Yeah.
This is actually, well, the first time at LAN we've seen Team Secret play cash, and it wasn't that convincing. Their CT side, in fact, was, I don't want to say poor, but that's the word that springs to mind. They really weren't able to string any rounds together. I think they won 1 round, and apart from that, we didn't see any sort of big plays. The individuals didn't step up, and that was something that really made them on the T side. We saw Nikki going big. We saw Giuliano with that four-player kill with the AWP. It's just not been the case on this map at all, and maybe that's just because the stand-in doesn't like the position. That can be a really big factor on cash. Like, obviously, if you're really used to playing the A site, playing B or middle is just not the same. And I just feel like that could be a problem at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like we are going for a small break, and after that we have the second map. It's the map pick of Team Heaven. So chances are they might actually make it to 0. Stay tuned to see that unfold. My name is Abu. With me is Tom. Thank you for tuning in. Stick around some more.